We're very proud of the program that trains electrical linesmen and grounds workers here at Fayetteville Tech. Dr. Keene and the Board of Trustees placed a great emphasis on preparing individuals to transition into the workplace here in the region and feed the economic opportunities in the Sand Hills region. We know because we are in Hurricane Alley, we see lots of storms that come through, and we're very fortunate to have both PWC and Duke Energy in our state and our community that's working to, when the weather gets bad and the storms are out, your linesmen, your crews are out there in the midst of it, making sure that our lights are on and we've got reliable and safe energy. Students in our line worker program complete 370 hours of training. That includes building and maintaining the electrical power circuits, equipping overhead and underground line construction, comprehensive review of voltage readings, pole climbing types and use of electrical tools and equipment, electrical safety, and much more. 3 of our graduates are standing over on the side. Jacqueline Montero, our first female graduate of the program. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you, Jacqueline, for being brave and going and showing those guys females can do it just as well as the guys can. We have Blake Grandstaff and Cody Baker. Blake is a military vet as well. So thank you all for being here. Fayetteville Tech started this program in the fall of 2018, and it was with the help of a strong partner. PWC came to the table, said we have a need. They not only came and said we had a need, but they said we've got resources to help you with that. They donated $11,000 in equipment to assist us, and they have been very forward in hiring our graduates. 45% of our graduates out of the program go straight to PWC and work there. FTCC honors and values its long and deep partnership with PWC. We're looking at starting some new programs with them now, and we appreciate them not only as being a good partner of the college, but for being a good community partner and keeping the lights on. So thank you, Dave Trago, for all the work you and your staff do and the commitment you've made to this college. It doesn't go without notice.
It's our pleasure.
With that being said, we also have and deeply appreciate and have great respect for Duke Energy. Duke Energy is one of the premier economic development organizations in our state. I worked with the Golden Leaf Foundation for 18 years, and Duke Energy was always at our side working and partnering with community colleges and workforce development. So we're grateful to that. My job here today is to introduce the president, Lynn Good, who is the chair, president, and CEO of Duke Energy. Duke Energy is one of the largest energy holding companies in the nation. Under her leadership, Duke Energy has intensified its focus on serving its customers as well as communities, and it leads the way in work to develop cleaner and smarter energy future. The company is 3 years into a 10-year vision of building a smarter, more reliable energy grid, generating leaner energy, and expanding the company's natural gas infrastructure. She's been with Duke Energy since 2006, becoming the CEO in 2013. So with that, if you would please welcome Lynn Good.
I particularly want to welcome Secretary Brouillette to North Carolina and to this region. He is an extraordinary leader for the energy industry, not only on policy, but on innovation and new technology. The national labs are a part of DOE, a real treasure for the U.S., and as we think about delivering energy over many decades, the national labs will make a big contribution. And I also want to thank Congressman Hudson for organizing this today and inviting Duke Energy to be a part. He has been an extraordinary leader, not only for this community and this state, but also for our industry, serving on Energy and Commerce in the House, and really being a great partner to our company, not only for the benefit of the Carolinas, but really for the benefit of the U.S. And I understand the two of you had a chance to go to Fort Bragg this morning. So Fort Bragg is an important customer to Duke Energy, one of our largest. And I also understand that they have a tagline of being the epicenter of the universe, which is impressive. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, because of their military significance. And I think about Fayetteville coming around the servicemen and women and supporting those families, really an important part of this community. So I'm glad it was a great opportunity for you. And then this afternoon, we're here at FTCC. And I think about the opportunity to showcase the energy grid. This, for us, is a big deal. It's not only about cyber and physical security and hurricanes and hardening and all of those things, which I know are important to Fort Bragg, but also to Fayetteville. And where this all comes together is the program that Dr. Sorrells talked about, in partnership with PwC and the electric co-ops to really put training programs together to create the workforce of the future. And it's an extraordinary opportunity for high-demand, high-paying jobs for veterans. And so you'll have a chance to hear about that from our team because we care deeply about linemen and the work that they do. They're the face of the company, and I'm so proud of this team that you'll have a chance to meet today. They are the 24/7 crowd that makes this all work. And I also want to recognize the partnership with PwC, an important not only partner but customer of ours at Duke Energy. We've had a chance to work with them for many years. So we'll hear from Julie on linemen, we'll hear from Bennie Anderson on veteran hiring, and Harry's going to give you a little bit of feedback on hurricane response. So thank you for including us. It's an honor to have you in North Carolina today.
I'm Julie Janson, President of the Carolinas for Duke Energy. We are delighted to be here, and thank you so much, FTCC, for hosting us here. I'd be remiss also if I didn't recognize Congressman Hudson for everything that he's done. You think about the Blue Collar and Green Collar Development Act that he supported for energy training, manufacturing training, the support that you've given for women and minorities and veterans around workforce development, so very important. And as well, you served on the Rowan Cabarrus Community College Board for a number of years, so it's certainly understandable that you would want to bring Secretary Brouillette out here to FTCC to see the importance of these programs and the work that they do for the highly skilled workforce that we at Duke Energy require. Linemen, engineers, very important training. When I think about linemen, these are the folks, line workers, that run to the roar. They race there. When the rest of us are sort of backing up for safety, as makes a lot of sense, they are running in to restore power at times that many of us, and under conditions many of us have never experienced. They stay there until the last customer is restored, and for that we certainly thank them. On blue sky days, they are truly the caretakers of our grid. The grid maintenance, everything that they need to do to be taking care of it so that we can have vibrant, strong communities. So I'm very excited to see what they have to show us today. Very excited about the partnership with FTCC and the other community colleges around line worker training. And we only need to think about the hurricane that we experienced a couple weeks ago to know that our line workers had customers restored in hours, not days. And I'll turn the microphone over to Harry Sideris to talk a little bit about line worker role in hurricane response.
Thank you for hosting us today. It's really an honor and privilege to be here. I'm Harry Sideris. I have the honor and privilege of running our customer groups here at Duke Energy, and I get to operate these amazing linemen behind us and deal with them every day, and they truly are amazing. As Julie and Lynn said, their work is essential to powering our communities, our homes, and our businesses. And here lately, since March, their work has been even more critical to keep the lights on, as people's homes during the pandemic have turned into their schools, their restaurants, their churches, their gyms even. So losing your electricity now means more than it did a few months ago. So these guys have really been very careful to keep safe and to keep the lights on during this time. We also deal with storms a lot in North Carolina, as you know. Just recently, Hurricane Isaias came through here with 90-mile-an-hour winds and tore our coast up. We had to make special precautions to take care and make sure that our employees were safe from COVID, our customers were safe from COVID, but we were also able to get the work done and restore power. We lost over 350,000 customers in that storm. We had 330,000 of them restored within 24 hours due to their great work. All 350 within 2 days, and we did it safely, which is the most important thing that we focus on. So it takes a lot of special characteristics to be a line worker. These guys leave their homes and their families during these storms and run into the storm itself. They work in 100-degree heat in the summer. They work in 10-degree cold in the winter, in the rain and the snow and the ice. At nights, on the weekends, they really sacrifice to keep the lights on for everybody. They have to learn to work as a team because they have to depend on each other to keep each other safe and get the work done. They have to learn to handle problems and solve problems on the fly because in the middle of the night they don't have anybody to go to but themselves. So they're really good problem solvers. And then the technical and the tools that they have to learn and deal with is ever changing with our technological advances on our grid. So it takes a lot of effort and training to be a good line worker, and it's programs like the program here at Fayetteville Tech for the line workers that help ensure that they have the foundation to really build strong linemen. We have partnered with 13 community colleges across the Carolinas and worked with the Energy Consortium to make sure that the curriculum is sound so that the foundation that is built in these schools can then be translated over to our crews and make us successful. And we have a lot of plans for our grid. It's very crucial to the success of North Carolina, to our clean energy future, and to harden ourselves from storms that we get. So line workers are going to be in demand. It's a great career to have, and the partnerships that we have with Fayetteville Tech and the other community colleges help us fill the army of line workers that we're going to need now and in the future to take care of our great customers like Fort Bragg and the rest of the Carolinas. With that, I'm going to invite Bennie up here to talk about our veteran hiring program. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Harry. I really appreciate it. And thank you for really hosting this for us. And, Dr. Marsh is, of course, is in the back right now. She doesn't want to have any of the spotlight, but because of her hard work and effort, this is what brought this here together. And Congressman Hudson as well. Mr. Secretary, there's a few things I'd like to talk to you about afterwards. I understand that you started off your career as a great armor crewman.
I did.
And I started off in tanks as well, so I look forward to those conversations on tanking days. Cool. So as Harry and Lynn kind of outline a couple of things that we do here at Duke Energy. So I'm going to really kind of talk about some of those program initiatives. How do we take citizen soldiers from across the state? How do we take the transition service members and the military spouses, and how does that all transform into a career at Duke Energy? First and foremost, we employ about 2,000 veterans that work for us in all different departments, from project management, line workers, to people that also defend our grid as well. We have an internal veteran resource group, and that veteran resource group really kind of helps transition servicemen and the veterans once they become hired into the corporation. What makes that special, right? How do I do that? So Lynn kind of outlined that Fort Bragg is one of the largest, right? So not only Fort Bragg, but North Carolina is also one of the largest parts of our customers. And how do we do that? How do we attract, hire, and retain those veterans for Duke Energy? So I'm going to highlight a few programs and connections that we do so. So one of those is the Department of Defense Skill Bridge Program, right? I think Blake that's in the back, Blake had an opportunity. He has about 4 months left on his contract, and he'll be ETSing out of the Army, and he's looking for his pathway to employment. So a program like Department of Defense Skill Bridge Program helps us pipeline a diverse group of talent into that organization. We also have a great partnership with CEWD, the Troops to Energy Program. That program allows us to reach out to different service members all throughout the U.S., so not only to local installations and programs as well. One other program I'd like to also bring attention to is the U.S. Chamber Hire Our Heroes Corporate Fellowship Program. That fellowship program envisions just like a military internship. It'll allow the service members up to 180 days or 6 months out to reach out to a company or corporation and do an internship program, which we would like to see at the end of that program to be able to offer them some meaningful employment through that. With that said, this is how we incorporate and continue that pipeline of training. Of course, we have that strong partnership with the local installations across the throughout the United States. The Soldier for Life and the DoD TAP program, which is an integral part of us having that program and connecting those dots and having that opportunity for us. Last year in 2019, as you may well know, we was a recipient of the U.S. Department of Labor Gold Award for hired vets. And what that is we were recognized in terms of the programs that we had in place and hiring veterans within that community. And of course, in 2018, we were a recipient of the Secretary of Defense Freedom Award. So with that said, it is a tough job because there are a lot of corporations that's competing for that same talent that we are with Duke Energy. But those programs that we have in place is how we really attract a good, robust amount of diverse, quality talent from the military. So I really appreciate having this job and doing so and attracting the service members to great corporations as Duke Energy. So hopefully that kind of gives you a little bit of highlight and insight of some of the programs and initiatives that we have here at Duke Energy. Mr. Secretary, thank you. Welcome.
I learned how to weld out of high school. It was a great vocational training for me, and really taught me a lot about the energy business that I help now influence all around the world. So it's been a fantastic experience for me. I was just talking to Ivanka Trump, and she was saying that she is very interested in helping people pursue what she refers to as non-traditional career paths. But it all starts in places like this one, and that's what we want to celebrate today. Lynn alluded to some of the work that we do in the U.S. Department of Energy, and I'm very proud of the people of DOE. Very proud of the fact that we have approximately 35% of our workforce are veterans, and they come from everywhere: Air Force, Navy, even the Navy, I should say, Army, Marine Corps, and the Coast Guard. It's very important that we hire these people and we help them transition away from military life and into the civilian sector. But part of what we do at DOE in these national laboratories requires a lot of STEM education. So we have approximately 60% of our workforce, and I'm guessing, so don't hold me to that, but it's a very significant number, are PhD physical scientists. So they're physics degrees, chemistry degrees, bioscience degrees, mathematics degrees. They're very, very important. And we recruit them very, very heavily at the Department of Energy, and we work closely with our colleges and our universities who help run some of those national laboratories to ensure that we have a good workforce coming in that are trained that way. But in the energy business, the everyday business of energy, making our grid resilient, making our grid reliable, making our grid strong, able to withstand both natural catastrophe and man-made catastrophe, i.e. cyber attacks and whatnot, requires this type of training. It requires this type of person each and every day. They must show up on the job. As it was mentioned earlier, when the wind blows, when the sun doesn't shine, when the hurricane comes, it's these people that run toward the event, not away from the event. And we have to have them properly trained. So I want to applaud you, sir, and FTCC for the work that you do, and also for the work that you do with the veterans community. So, thank you for that. Thank you for your commitment to the veterans community. Thank you for your commitment to the energy industry. And thank you for allowing me to join you today. It's been an honor to be with you. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Richard Hudson, you're a congressman. I want to first thank you, Mr. Secretary, for making the time to be here with us today. You have a big job, a lot of responsibilities, and the fact that you dedicated a whole day to come here to the epicenter of the universe at Fort Bragg and then here at Fayetteville Community College means a lot to us and our community. So thank you, sir, for that. Thank you also for incredible leadership you provide to the department. And to Lynn Good, thank you for making time to be here today as well. Thank you for what Duke Energy means to our community, to our state, to our region, to our whole nation, frankly. And thank you for the emphasis you put on hiring veterans. It's really important to us. One of the challenges we have, I was telling the Secretary, is we have 50,000, give or take, soldiers here at Fort Bragg and their family members. And when these soldiers finish their time, we want them to stay here. We want to keep that talent in our state. And but there's not always those opportunities for them. And so the work that Duke Energy is doing to help soldiers through that transition, the work that Fayetteville Community College does with PwC and other partners to create these opportunities to keep the talent here is so important. And and that's really what we wanted to highlight today is these programs of the Department of Energy, the workforce training, and what a big difference it makes to us here in this community. I want to thank Fayetteville Community College. Thank you, Dr. Sorrells, for welcoming us and for the tremendous job you do. This is one of the best colleges in the country. And I found out today by full-time equivalent students, we're actually the largest community college in North Carolina. I didn't realize that. But I do know that Fayetteville Technical Community College does a tremendous job being tied into this community and the needs of our employers, but also into our military and the needs of our men and women and their families. And so being a former trustee of a community college before I got into this job, I appreciate the job you do and understand how important it is. That's why I sought out a position on the Workforce and Education Committee when I first got to Congress. And that's why I continue to work on workforce issues as a member of the Energy and Commerce Committee. In fact, one of the bills that was mentioned, Julie, I appreciate that, is the blue collar and green collar jobs bill. So here's a bill where, you know, all you hear about Washington is all the fighting, right? So here's a Democrat, former Black Panther, who represents Southside Chicago named Bobby Rush, and a congressman from North Carolina, who some may call a redneck from North Carolina, and Richard Hudson. But we got together on this legislation, and it's looking at what are the future job needs in the energy industry, and how do we prepare our workforce to be ready to take those jobs. And it's exactly what's happening here, but it's trying to anticipate what are those next jobs, what are those job skills that linemen are going to need, what are the future positions that we're going to need to fill, and make sure that we are on the cutting edge, but also make sure our people are ready to take those jobs. So these are the type of initiatives I've enjoyed working on, and we're just glad to be able to highlight one very important program to the Secretary here today. Thank you all for being here. God bless you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We're going to demonstrate some of the things that we do in the line construction area. The tasks which they're going to do is something that we do quite a bit. Hurricane, ice storm restoration. They're going to replace a pole and install a transformer for residential or commercial accounts and things like that during times such as we had with the hurricane a couple of weeks ago. So again, the task that they do is something we do on a regular basis, and we will show you how that goes. And here at the college, the basic skills in which they learn here, that again transfers to what these individuals do out in the field. So with that, we'll get started.